A Villain in Venice, Jane of the Air, Book 1. A steampunk detective and aviatrix and part-time spy. Available now. All profits to the NHS.
Scanning for audio.
Welcome to another Tin Dog podcast, this time talking about Doctor Who, Time War Volume 4. And as always, my only issue with the Time War Volume 4 is that it's not got John Hurt in it. Yeah, I know. I'm a spoiled, entitled fan. I need to get over the fact that John Hurt can't be with us and embrace the exciting performances of Paul McGann. Except, in my head, of course, Paul McGann is currently stranded on Earth in, well, the Stranded box set. So that's going on in my head. Now, as an elderly gentleman, or at least that's how I've been feeling this year, obviously at my current point in the Eighth Doctor's timeline, that's where he is. He's stranded on Earth. Except, of course, he's not. In the current point in the Eighth Doctor's timeline, he's here. He's in the Time War. Now, at the end of box set 3, the Valeyard, I know, had finally vanquished the Daleks, once and for all. They were all removed from reality. They were just gone. The Gallifreyans had won the war. This is where it gets interesting. At the very end, the Time Strategist popped through a dimensional reality thing and ended up somewhere else. And of course, Bliss and the Eighth Doctor followed. And where he'd gone, and that's interesting, because where he'd gone was to a universe where the person called Davros had never been involved in a war. There were no Daleks. The lovely, jovial Terry Malloy was merely an incredibly cool scientist. Happily married, living on a lovely place called Skaro, where the war had never happened, where the Time Lords had been defeated millennia ago, and everything was hunky and dory. Because there's a strange wormholey thing, well, that's where things start getting weird. Because the Time Strategist is never one just to sit around. Here's the synopsis, it'll be easier without me giving spoilers. The Eighth Doctor and Bliss are dragged into the Time War as the Daleks replenish their army using Davros himself. Now, it's a 4 CD set, obviously 5 if you count the extras, but parts 1 and 2, basically the first 2 discs, are called Palindrome. Palindrome Part 1 and 2, written by John Dorney. Again, John, the safe pair of hands, Dorney. In an alternative universe, Davros lives in peace until the Doctor and Bliss arrive and the Daleks emerge in a new reality. Now, I don't really want to say more than that, because it's brilliant. I mean, this is like potentially award-winning stuff. Very little running through corridors. The Daleks are trying to rebuild themselves, which comes across so well. Nick Briggs is just, putting in performances left, right and centre with as practically everyone. But it's Malloy who's just so great here. You've got your lovely, cuddly, jovial Uncle Davros. The person you'd invite round for tea, the one who just wouldn't say boo to a goose. You've got a very, very disappointed time controller, and you've got somebody, well, trying to put things the way they want them back. It just rocks. Then, after those stories, we've got 4.2, which is actually 4.3 of the box set. Dreadshade, the Time Lords using the General and the 12, I know, the 12 female incarnation, adjusts to life after the Time War until the Doctor and Bliss return home with a warning. And then, of course, Restoration of the Daleks by Matt Fitton. The Dalek Time Strategist restores the Dalek armies to the universe, but wants to dispense with Davros. There are characters recurring and returning in this, which just make you punch the air and smile. It works gorgeously. I cannot tell you what a great and almost revitalisation of the Time War box set this is. So can I forgive the universe for going, oh, but Paul McGann's in 2 parallel stories at once? Yes, because I'm a big boy and I can handle that sort of thing. But the Time War doesn't have John Hurt's Doctor in it. Yeah, I don't care. This is where things are getting worse. This is the journey towards Night of the Doctor, and it's all going to be all right. Can I say more than this? I can, but I will be doing spoilers. I really would. So, here's the trailer. Decide for yourselves, as always. And until next time, be seeing you.
From Big Finish Productions, Doctor Who, The Eighth Doctor Adventures, The Time War, Volume 4.
We are from another universe. One that was at war, or rather, one that had recently been at war. We have knowledge of the future. We have to take advantage of that.
Davros, there you are. You're up.
You surprise me every day.
The Time Strategist, he's coming for you.
Stop him! They're all going to die if you let him do this.
You are the Doctor. You are the enemy of the Daleks.
Now listen, you don't look quite yourselves. I'm sure if we had a chat, we...
It's party time! Shut up and don't move.
Sorry, who are you?
You don't know?
Never seen you before in my life.
Come on, make a move. I'd love you to find out exactly what a Dalek gun does to someone.
Exterminate! We will return, restored, stronger, immortal, and we will rain down fire upon you and all your people!
Big Finish. We love stories.
Whole planets have shifted. Some have vanished altogether. War is over. But there is no peace.
That was the Tin Dog Podcast. Available on Spotify, iTunes, Acast, Stitcher, and wherever good podcasts are found. Get early access to content by subscribing to the Tin Dog Podcast YouTube channel. You can support the show at patreon.com/tindog. Contact the show on Twitter at tindogpodcast or email tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. All of the things discussed are the intellectual property of others. No infringement is intended. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.